The red and blue lights painted my backyard like a crime scene nobody called for, except the woman who'd spent 2 years turning neighborly into a 4-letter word. There she stood on the public sidewalk in her starched khakis and pearl choker, clipboard raised like a shield, telling the cops my wife's memorial pool was suddenly community property. Welcome to Ridgeview Palms, Scottsdale, Arizona, where the desert sun bakes everything into perfection and the HOA makes sure nothing ever feels like yours. I'm Ethan Brooks, 58, retired landscape architect, and that pool sitting 6 feet inside my property line was the last thing Sophia ever built with her own hands before cancer took her. Her handprints still pressed into the coping stones, her initials etched on the bronze plaque. But Karen Voss didn't see a memorial. She saw an asset she couldn't control. Next morning the doorbell rang like a judge's gavel. Karen arrived with 2 board drones and neon safety vests, tape measures swinging like nooses. "Morning, Mr. Brooks," she cooed, voice dripping artificial sweetener. "Routine boundary verification. You received the 30-day notice, correct?" I hadn't, but that was HOA standard operating procedure. Rules for the amnesia for me. She marched straight to the fence line, heels stabbing my pavers. "Our latest survey shows your pool encroaches 8 inches onto the common greenbelt. 8 inches is still theft, Mr. Brooks." I folded my arms. "Show me the survey." Her smile never wavered. "HOA documents are privileged, dear. You wouldn't understand." One of her drones muttered, "Ma'am, the city plat doesn't." Karen cut him off with a look that could freeze lava. "Measure it again. Document the violation." She crouched beside Sophia's plaque, manicured nail tapping the bronze like it offended her. "This personal memorial must be removed. Community features cannot display individual names. Bylaw 14C, subsection 3. I felt the desert heat crawl up my neck. "That plaque stays. It's not decoration. It's a promise." Karen straightened, adjusting her sunglasses like a queen bestowing mercy. "Then you'll be hearing from collections. $200 per day until compliance." She spun on her heel, the click-clack of her shoes sounding exactly like the countdown to her own funeral. For 3 weeks the fines arrived like clockwork: unauthorized structure, improper screening, obstruction of association view corridor. I stacked the envelopes on the kitchen counter next to Sophia's old blueprints and laughed the hollow laugh of a man who knows the game is rigged. Then the noises started. Flashlight beams dancing across my fence at 2 a.m. The soft scrape of metal on metal at the gate latch. Someone was testing how far they could push before I pushed back. I walked next door to my neighbor's kid, a sharp paralegal named Mia Torres. She spread the fines across her table like a bad poker hand. "They can't fine you for something on your deed." "They can if nobody challenges the map," I said. Mia tapped the oldest fine. "Then challenge it. Pull the original county plat." That night I sat by the pool with a flashlight and Sophia's faded drawings. My fingers found a seam under the filter housing, something she'd poured herself the week before the diagnosis. A hollow echo when I tapped. "Metal. Waterproof." Labeled in her neat hand on the blueprint. "Legacy Vault, for when they try to take what's ours." My chest tightened. She'd known. Even then. The next afternoon I came home early and heard the pump screaming. Half the pool was already drained, waterline sinking like a slashed throat. Karen stood on my deck in designer boots, phone recording, commas Sunday service. "Mr. Brooks, the board received multiple complaints about a filtration leak into common soil. We're obligated to investigate." I stared at the open gate, the fresh pry marks on the latch. "You broke in." She didn't even blink. The gate was ajar, another code violation, I'm afraid. Safety hazard. I stepped closer until I could smell her expensive perfume cutting through the chlorine. "Turn the camera off." "First Amendment, Mr. Brooks. Documenting board business." I smiled for the first time in weeks. "Then smile big, Karen. Because your little inspection just triggered Bylaw 22F, unauthorized entry onto private property without 48-hour written notice and 2 board witnesses. That's a $5,000 fine per incident. Payable to me." Her phone hand dipped half an inch. For the first time the mask cracked. I let her finish draining the pool, just to watch her squirm. When the last inch of water disappeared, the steel vault sat exposed in the center of the dry concrete like a buried heart. Karen's eyes locked on it the way a shark smells blood. She tried to play it cool. "What's that?" "Something my wife left for people who forget boundaries," I said, "including the ones they redraw themselves." 2 days later, the entire neighborhood packed the community center for the emergency HOA hearing. Karen stood at the podium in full battle pearls. For the safety and harmony of Ridgeview Palms, the board has no choice but to assume management of the disputed amenity. Polite applause from the usual suspects. I stood up, metal vault under one arm, Mia beside me with a laptop. Before you vote to steal my wife's grave, you might want to see what's inside it. Karen's laugh was brittle. This is not show and tell, Mr. Brooks. No, I said, it's discovery. I opened the vault. Original 2009 county plat. Sophia's notarized survey showing the greenbelt ended 12 feet short of my pool. Forged HOA amendment signed by one Karen Voss. And the kicker, emails between Karen and a developer offering her a consulting fee if the parcel magically became common land for their new golf course expansion. The projector lit up the wall. Gasps rippled like a wave. Mrs. Delgado, who'd always nodded along with Karen, stood up shaking. You used our dues to line your pockets. Karen's face went the color of cheap drywall. These are fabrications. Mia cut in smoothly. Then explain why the county auditor is waiting outside with the real originals. You demanded transparency at last month's meeting, Mrs. Voss. Here it is. Karen tried the classic exit, chin high, heels clicking toward the door, but the board members she'd bullied for years suddenly remembered their spines. They voted to suspend her on the spot. She turned at the threshold, eyes blazing. You think this is over? I met her stare. No, I think it's finally fair. Court took 4 months, but the judge didn't need that long. When the county auditor testified that Karen had personally authorized the forged plat and funneled $187,000 in dues into related party contracts, the gavel came down like Judgment Day. Full ownership confirmed. Damages awarded. Mandatory HOA audit. Karen resigned the same afternoon, sold her house at a loss, and vanished to some retirement community in Nevada where, rumor has it, they don't allow backyard pools at all. Poetic. Last weekend I opened the gate wide. Neighbors brought lemonade and stories. Kids cannonballed into the water that once belonged only to memory. Sophia's plaque caught the desert sun and threw it back brighter than ever. The desert teaches you one thing. Water always finds its level. So does justice. True or false? In the end, was Karen the one who truly abused power by hiding behind community rules? Or did the real karma strike the woman who forgot that some foundations are poured too deep to steal? Drop your verdict below. Who really got buried by their own bylaws?